Dr. Marcus Chen stared at the screen in front of him. His fingers moved quickly over the controls of his small rescue ship. The broken alien vessel floated in the darkness of space, spinning slowly like a dying bird. "This is stupid," Marcus said to himself. Command said not to go alone, but he could not leave. The alien ship was beautiful, even broken. It looked like it was made of crystal and silver. Parts of it glowed with soft blue light. Other parts were dark and torn. Marcus had been studying aliens for 10 years. He had never seen a ship like this one. The humans had been fighting the Valkyrie Empire for over 100 years. He had seen their warships before. They were big and scary. This ship was different. It was smaller and more elegant. His radio crackled. "Dr. Chen, return to the Endeavor immediately." "That's an order." Marcus turned off his radio. He knew he would get in trouble later. But right now, someone inside that ship might need help. As a doctor, he could not just fly away. He moved his ship closer to the alien vessel. The damage was worse than he first thought. Big holes were torn in the hull. Pieces of crystal floated around the ship like broken glass. Whatever happened here, it was not an accident. Marcus put on his spacesuit and checked his air supply. He had 4 hours of oxygen. That should be enough time to look inside and get back to his ship. The airlock on the alien ship still worked. Marcus was surprised. Most of the ship looked dead, but some systems were still running. Emergency power. Maybe. Inside the ship, everything was quiet. Marcus turned on his helmet light and looked around. The walls were smooth and curved. They were made of the same crystal material as the outside. Even broken, the ship was the most beautiful thing Marcus had ever seen. He followed a long hallway deeper into the ship. His boots made soft sounds on the crystal floor. Sometimes, he heard creaking noises as the ship moved in space. But mostly, it was silent. Marcus found what looked like a main room. It was big and round, with a high ceiling. In the center was a raised platform with something on it. Marcus moved closer. It was an alien. She was lying very still. Marcus could see she was badly hurt. Her body was covered with what looked like clear crystal armor, but it was cracked in many places. Blue liquid leaked from the cracks. It glowed softly in the dark room. Marcus had never seen a living Valkyrie before. The war had been going on since before he was born, but most fighting happened far from Earth. This alien was bigger than a human. Her arms and legs were longer. Her face was more narrow. But she looked almost human, in some ways. Her eyes were closed. Marcus thought she might be dead. Then, he saw her chest moving up and down slowly. She was breathing. Marcus stepped forward to help her. That was when her eyes opened. They were large and completely blue, like looking into deep water. She looked at Marcus and tried to speak, but only made a soft sound. Marcus knelt down next to the platform. "Don't worry," he said. "I'm a doctor. I want to help you." The alien tried to sit up, but fell back down. She was very weak. This time, when she spoke, Marcus could understand her words. She was speaking his language, but with a strange accent. "You mustn't touch me, human," she whispered. Marcus stopped. His hands were just inches from her injured body. "What? Why not?" The alien's blue eyes looked at him with what seemed like sadness. "My kind. We are poison to yours. And yours to mine." Marcus did not understand. "What do you mean?" The alien took a shaky breath. "If you touch me, we will both die. Our bodies, they do not work together. The electricity in our cells will kill us both." Marcus sat back on his heels. He had heard rumors about this. Some scientists thought that Valkyrie and humans could not touch each other safely, but he had never seen proof. Now, he was looking right at it. "How do you know our language?" Marcus asked. "I have been studying your people," the alien said. "I am Queen Zarathes of the Valkyrie Empire. I was trying to make peace between our kinds." Marcus felt his heart jump. This was the queen of their enemies. But she looked so small and hurt lying on the crystal platform. She did not look like a dangerous enemy. "What happened to your ship?" Marcus asked. Queen Zarathes closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, Marcus saw anger there. "My own people did this. My High Council found out about my peace talks. They said I was a traitor. They broke my ship and left me here to die." "Your own people tried to kill you?" "Yes," the Queen said. "They want the war to continue. They think humans are too weak to deserve peace. They were wrong about that, but they will never listen to me now." Marcus looked at the blue liquid still leaking from her crystal armor. "You're dying." "Yes," Queen Zarathes said simply. "Soon." Marcus stood up and started walking around the platform. His mind was working fast. There had to be something he could do. He was a doctor. Saving lives was what he did. "There must be some way to help you," Marcus said. "Some way to touch you safely." The Queen shook her head. "It is not possible. Our scientists tried for many years. We cannot change what we are." End. But Marcus was not ready to give up. He had spent his whole life studying alien biology. Maybe there was something the Velkari had not thought of. Some way to protect both of them from the dangerous electricity in their cells. He looked at the dying Queen and made a choice that would change everything. "I'm not leaving you here," Marcus said. Marcus turned his radio back on. Static filled his helmet for a moment. Then he heard the angry voice of Captain Rodriguez. "Chen, where the hell are you? Report back to the ship right now." "Captain, I found someone alive on the alien vessel," Marcus said. "She needs medical help." "She? You found a live Velkari? Get away from there immediately. That's an order." Marcus looked down at Queen Zarathes. She was watching him with those deep blue eyes. Her breathing was getting weaker. "Captain, she's dying. I can't just leave her here." "Yes. You can. And you will. The Velkari are our enemies, Doctor. They've been killing humans for over a century. Let her die." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. "She's not my enemy. She was trying to make peace. Her own people betrayed her for it." "How do you know that?" "She could be lying." Marcus looked at the broken ship around him. At the tears in the hull that were clearly made by Velkari weapons. At the Queen's injuries that came from her own people's attack. "She's not lying," Marcus said. There was silence on the radio for a moment. Then, Captain Rodriguez spoke again, his voice cold. "Dr. Chen, you will return to this ship in the next 30 minutes, or you will be charged with disobeying orders in wartime. Do you understand?" Marcus thought about his career, about the years he had spent studying to become a xenobiologist, about his dreams of exploring the galaxy and meeting new forms of life. All of that could be over if he disobeyed a direct order. He looked at Queen Zarathes again. She had closed her eyes, but Marcus could tell she was listening. "I understand, Captain," Marcus said, "but I'm not coming back." He turned off his radio before Captain Rodriguez could reply. Queen Zarathes opened her eyes and looked at him. "You should go, human. Your captain is right. I am your enemy." "No," Marcus said. The Queen made a soft sound that might have been a laugh. "You are strange creatures, humans. My daughter said you were all weak and stupid. But you do not seem stupid." "One. You have a daughter?" The Queen's expression became sad. "Princess Kethara. She was the one who told the High Council about my peace talks. She led the ships that attacked me." Marcus felt shocked. "Your own daughter tried to kill you?" "Marcus. She believes she was saving our empire. Kethara thinks that making peace with humans would make us weak. She would rather see me dead than see our people become friends with yours." Marcus started walking around the room, thinking, "There has to be something I can do. My ship has medical equipment. Human equipment will not work on my body," the Queen said. "Our biology is too different. The only thing that could save me is direct bioelectric field manipulation. But that requires touching, and touching means death for both of us." Marcus stopped walking. "Bioelectric field manipulation? That's like using electricity? To heal cells?" "Yes. My organs are failing because the energy patterns in my body are disrupted. If someone could touch me and guide the bioelectric fields back into proper alignment, I would heal. But it is impossible. Marcus's mind started racing. During his years of study, he had worked on some experimental projects. One of them was about bioelectric fields and how they worked in different alien species. He had been trying to create devices that could protect humans from dangerous alien environments. What if there was a way to block the dangerous fields? Marcus asked. Some kind of barrier that would let you touch something without the electricity hurting you. Queen Zarathes looked at him with interest for the first time. That is not possible. Many of our scientists have tried. Maybe your scientists were thinking about it wrong, Marcus said. What if instead of trying to change your biology, we just created a buffer zone? Something that could absorb the dangerous energy and convert it into something harmless. The queen tried to sit up again, but was too weak. Marcus shook his head. Not exactly. But I have some experimental equipment on my ship, and there are components here on your ship that I could use. I might be able to jury-rig something. Jury-rig? Build something quickly with whatever parts I can find. Queen Zarathes was quiet for a long moment. Marcus could see she was thinking hard. Even if such a device could work, she said finally, it would be very dangerous. If it failed while you were touching me, we would both die instantly. If I don't try, you'll die anyway, Marcus pointed out. Yes, but you would live. Marcus knelt down next to the platform again, careful not to get too close. Your Majesty, can I ask you something? You may ask. If you die, what happens to the peace process? The Queen's eyes became darker. There will be no peace. The High Council will use my death to prove that humans cannot be trusted. They will say, you killed me. Princess Kethara will become queen, and she will continue the war until one of our species is destroyed. Marcus felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air in the broken ship. How many people will die? Millions? The Queen said quietly. Maybe billions. The High Council has been building a new weapon, something that could destroy entire human colonies with one shot. If they use it. She did not need to finish. Marcus understood. Then I have to try to save you, he said. It's not just about your life anymore. Queen Zarathes looked at him for a long time. You would risk your life for people you have never met? For a future you might never see? Yes, Marcus said simply. The Queen made that soft laughing sound again. Kethara was wrong about humans. You are not weak. You are terrifying. Marcus smiled. We prefer to think of ourselves as determined. He stood up and started checking the equipment on his belt. I'm going back to my ship to get some medical supplies. I'll be back in an hour. Rhine. This one. I'm going back to my ship. I'm going back to my ship. Dr. Chen. The Queen called as he started to leave. He turned back to look at her. Thank you, she said. Marcus nodded and walked toward the airlock. He had no idea if his plan would work. He was not even sure he could build the device he was imagining. But he had to try. As he reached his ship, Marcus could see the human vessel Endeavor in the distance. Captain Rodriguez would be very angry. Marcus might end up in prison for what he was about to do. But sometimes, doing the right thing was more important than following orders. Marcus began gathering the equipment he would need to build a miracle. Marcus worked for 3 hours straight, his hands moving quickly over wires and circuit boards. Sweat dripped down his face, inside his helmet, as he connected pieces of equipment from both ships. The device he was building looked like a metal bracelet with small lights all around it. Attached to it were cables that ran to a larger box filled with alien crystal components. Marcus had never built anything like this before. He was not even sure it would work. Queen Zarathes watched him work. She was getting weaker, but she stayed awake to help him understand how Velkari bioelectric fields functioned. The energy flows in patterns, she explained, her voice getting softer. Like rivers of electricity through our bodies. When the patterns are disturbed, we get sick. When they stop completely, we die. Marcus connected another wire and checked his readings. And if I can guide the patterns back to normal, you'll heal? Yes. But the process requires direct skin contact. And our bioelectric fields are stronger when we are injured. Right now, touching me would kill you in seconds. Marcus looked at his device. The small lights were glowing, which meant it was working. But would it be strong enough? There's only one way to find out, he said. Queen Zarathes looked scared for the first time since he had found her. Dr. Chen, you don't have to do this. I am already dying. At least you could live. I told you before. I'm not leaving you here. Marcus put the metal bracelet around his wrist. Besides, you still haven't told me everything about that weapon your people are building. The Queen's eyes widened. How did you know I was not telling you everything? Marcus smiled. Because you're a good leader. You want to give me hope. But you also want to make sure someone knows the truth. In case you don't make it. Live. And a difference. And a difference 7. And a difference. Queen Zarathes was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke in a voice so low Marcus had to lean closer to hear. The weapon is not just powerful. It is almost ready. The High Council plans to test it on a human colony world in 2 weeks. After that, they will use it to destroy Earth. Marcus felt his blood turn cold. 2 weeks? Yes. And the only way to stop it is from the Royal Command Center on the Velkari homeworld. Only someone with royal biosignatures can access the controls. Royal biosignatures? The genetic patterns of the royal family. Right now, that means me or Princess Kethera. The Queen coughed, and more blue liquid leaked from her crystal armor. If I die, only Kethara will be able to stop the weapon, and she will never do it. Marcus stared at his device. Suddenly, saving the Queen's life was not just about doing the right thing. It was about saving billions of human lives. Okay, Marcus said. Let's do this. He activated the biofield dampener. The small lights around his wrist began to pulse faster. He could feel a strange tingling sensation running up his arm. Wait, Queen Zarathes said. There is something else you should know. Even if this works, even if you save me, my people will consider me a traitor. They will try to kill both of us. Then we'll have to make sure they don't succeed, Marcus said. He reached out slowly toward the Queen's hand. The dampener was working. He could see the energy readings on his equipment. But as his hand got closer to hers, the device started making warning sounds. The fields are too strong, Queen Zarathes said. Move away before. Pain shot through Marcus's body like lightning. Every muscle in his body tensed up, and he felt like he was being electrocuted. The Queen screamed and arched her back in agony. But Marcus did not pull his hand away. The dampener was working, barely. The device was absorbing most of the dangerous energy, but not all of it. Pain continued to flow through both of them, but they were not dying. Marcus forced his hand closer until his fingers touched the Queen's palm. The moment their skin made contact, everything changed. Marcus could suddenly feel the patterns of electricity flowing through the Queen's body. It was like looking at a map made of lightning. He could see where the patterns were broken, where the energy was flowing in the wrong directions. Working by instinct, Marcus began to guide the bioelectric fields back into their proper paths. It was like being a conductor directing an orchestra, except the music was made of electricity, and the instruments were living cells. The process was incredibly painful. Both Marcus and Queen Zarathes were shaking from the strain. The dampener was sparking and smoking. Marcus could smell burning circuits. It's working, the Queen gasped. I can feel my body starting to heal. But then, the dampener started failing. The small lights around Marcus's wrist were going out one by one. The device was being overloaded by the powerful bioelectric fields. The dampener is breaking down, Marcus said through gritted teeth. I don't know how much longer it will hold. Almost finished, Queen Zarathes said. Just a few more seconds. But they did not have a few more seconds. The dampener gave out with a shower of sparks. Without the protective barrier, The full force of their incompatible bioelectric fields slammed into both of them. Marcus felt like he was being hit by lightning. His vision went white, and every nerve in his body screamed in pain. He could hear Queen Zarathes crying out beside him, but he did not let go. For several seconds that felt like hours, Marcus held onto the Queen's hand while electricity tried to tear both of them apart. His body was convulsing, but he used all his willpower to keep his hand steady and continue guiding her bioelectric patterns. Finally, something changed. The chaotic energy patterns in the Queen's body snapped back into their proper configuration. Her bioelectric field stabilized, and the dangerous interaction between them stopped. Marcus collapsed to the floor, his whole body shaking. Queen Zarathes lay still on the platform, her crystal armor no longer leaking blue liquid. For a moment, Marcus thought they were both dead. Then the Queen sat up. Her injuries were completely healed. The cracks in her crystal armor had sealed themselves. Her blue eyes were bright and clear. "Incredible," she said, looking at her hands. "I feel stronger than I have in years." First, Marcus tried to stand up, but his legs would not work. The bioelectric shock had damaged his nervous system. "Are you all right?" Queen Zarathes asked, kneeling down beside him. "I think so," Marcus said weakly. "Just need a few minutes to recover." The Queen looked at the burned remains of the dampener device. "What you just did should have been impossible. No one has ever survived direct bioelectric contact between our species." Marcus managed to sit up. Maybe no one ever wanted it badly enough. Queen Zarathes stared at him with an expression Marcus could not read. "You risked everything to save me. Why?" Marcus thought about all the people who would die if the Valkyrie weapon was used. About the war that would continue if she died. About the simple fact that she was a living being who needed help. "Because it was the right thing to do," he said. Marcus slowly got back to his feet, still feeling weak from the bioelectric shock. Queen Zarathes stood beside him, looking completely healed. It was hard to believe she had been dying just minutes before. "We need to contact my ship," Marcus said. "They need to know about the weapon." "Wait," the Queen said, putting a hand on his arm. Marcus was surprised to realize he could feel her touch without any pain. Something had changed during the healing process. "What happened to us?" Marcus asked. "Why doesn't touching hurt anymore?" Queen Zarathes looked troubled. "I have been thinking about that. What we just experienced should not have been possible. But there are old stories, legends that most of my people have forgotten." She walked over to a wall panel and touched it. The crystal surface lit up with symbols that Marcus could not read. "These are the royal archives," the Queen explained. "Information that has been kept secret for thousands of years." She read silently for a moment, her expression growing more and more shocked. "What does it say?" Marcus asked. Queen Zarathes turned to face him, her blue eyes wide with disbelief. "The bio-incompatibility between our species. It's not natural." "What do you mean?" "It was created artificially by Valkyrie scientists long ago. They changed our genetic structure to make sure we could never coexist peacefully with other species we might encounter." Marcus felt stunned. "They made it so you couldn't touch other aliens? Why?" "Control," the Queen said bitterly. "The ancient rulers wanted to make sure that Valkyrie would always see other species as enemies. If we could not touch them without dying, we could never truly understand them. We could never become friends." Marcus thought about the implications. "So, the whole basis for the war between our species is built on a lie. A lie that my ancestors created to keep us isolated and aggressive." Queen Zarathes looked at the archives again. "But there is more. The genetic changes can be reversed. The process is stored here in the Royal Bioarchives." "You mean all Valkyrie could learn to touch humans safely?" "Yes. But it would require someone with royal access to begin the process. And it would mean admitting that our entire culture has been based on a deliberate deception." Marcus heard his radio crackling. He had forgotten that he left it turned on. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through, sounding worried now instead of angry. Dr. Chen, please respond. We've intercepted Velkari military communications. There's a fleet heading this way. You need to get back to the ship immediately. Marcus looked at Queen Zarathes. How long until they get here? The Queen checked another panel. 2 hours, maybe less. It is Princess Kethara's personal squadron. She is coming to make sure I am truly dead. Then we need to get out of here. No, the Queen said firmly. This is our chance. If I can confront Kethara with the truth about our genetic manipulation, if I can prove that humans and Velkari can work together, it might stop the war. Quote. Marcus stared at her. I want to try to save her. Kethara truly believes she is protecting our people. If she learns that everything she was taught was a lie, she might listen to reason. Marcus activated his radio. Captain Rodriguez, this is Dr. Chen. Chen, thank God. Get back here right now. We have incoming Velkari ships. Captain, I need you to listen carefully. The alien I found is Queen Zarathes. She has information about a Velkari superweapon that threatens all human colonies. There was silence on the radio for several seconds. Then Captain Rodriguez spoke again. His voice, very serious. What kind of weapon? Marcus looked at the Queen, who nodded. A device capable of destroying entire planets. They plan to test it in 2 weeks, then use it against Earth. Jesus Christ. How do we stop it? The Queen is the only one who can access the controls, but her own people consider her a traitor. We need to get her to the Velkari homeworld. That's suicide, Chen. Their entire fleet would be waiting for us. Queen Zarathes took the radio from Marcus. Captain Rodriguez, this is Queen Zarathes of the Velkari Empire. Dr. Chen has risked his life to save mine. In return, I offer you something that could end this war forever. I'm listening. Proof that the biological incompatibility between our species was artificially created. The genetic changes can be reversed. Humans and Velkari can learn to coexist peacefully. Marcus could hear excited voices in the background on the Endeavor. This was the kind of discovery that could change everything. Your Majesty, Captain Rodriguez said carefully, how do we know this isn't a trap? Queen Zarathes looked at Marcus. Because Dr. Chen and I can now touch each other without harm. The reversal process has already begun. To prove her point, she took Marcus's hand. He felt no pain, just the warmth of her alien skin against his. Captain Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. Dr. Chen. Is this true? Yes, sir. Whatever happened during the healing process, it changed both of us. The bioelectric incompatibility is gone. This changes everything, Captain Rodriguez said. If we can prove this to Earth Command. There's no time, Queen Zarathes interrupted. Princess Kethara will be here soon. If she destroys this ship, the evidence in the royal archives will be lost forever. Marcus made a quick decision. Captain, I'm downloading the archive data now. If something happens to us, you'll have proof. He worked quickly to connect his equipment to the Velkari systems. Queen Zarathes helped him access the files and transfer them to his portable storage device. As they worked, Marcus found himself amazed at how naturally they collaborated. Just hours ago, they had been members of enemy species who could not even touch each other. Now they were working together to potentially save both their civilizations. Download complete, Marcus announced. Queen Zarathes looked out a viewport at the approaching Velkari ships. Kethara's squadron will be here in 30 minutes. Dr. Chen, you should return to your ship. There is no need for you to die in what comes next. I'm not leaving, Marcus said firmly. This is not your fight. Marcus thought about everything that had happened. About the Queen's willingness to risk her life for peace. About the billions of people who would die if the superweapon was used. About the simple fact that he had come too far to give up now. Yes, it is, he said. We're in this. Together. Now. Queen Zarathes smiled. The first time Marcus had seen her look truly happy. Then we had better prepare for Princess Kethara, she said. My daughter has never been easy to convince. The Velkari ships arrived like silver arrows cutting through the darkness of space. Marcus counted 12 vessels, all sleek and dangerous looking. The largest ship was twice the size of the others, its crystal hull decorated with royal symbols. "That is Keth Ara's flagship," Queen Zarathus said, watching through the viewport. She always preferred to lead from the front. Marcus checked his equipment one more time. He had managed to build a better biofield dampener, using parts from the royal archives. This one was more stable and could protect multiple people at once. "Are you sure this will work?" he asked. "The science is sound," the queen replied. "But Keth Ara is very stubborn. She has believed in Velkari superiority her entire life, learning that it was all based on lies. It will not be easy for her to accept." The radio crackled with an incoming transmission. A young female voice spoke in the Velkari language. Queen Zarathus listened, her expression growing sad. "What did she say?" Marcus asked. "She demands that I surrender myself for execution as a traitor to the Empire. She also wants to know why there is a human ship nearby." Queen Zarathus activated the communication system and replied in standard so Marcus could understand. "Keth Ara, my daughter. I am not a traitor. I am trying to save our people from a terrible mistake." "Mother?" Princess Keth Ara's voice sounded shocked. "You should be dead. I saw your ship destroyed. I survived because a human saved my life. Dr. Marcus Chen risked everything to help me, even though our species are supposed to be enemies." There was silence for several seconds. Then, Princess Keth Ara's voice came back, cold and angry. "Impossible. Humans cannot touch us without dying. You are lying." "I am not lying, daughter. Come aboard and see for yourself." "No. You have been corrupted by the humans somehow. They have made you weak. Guards, prepare to destroy this vessel." 1. Marcus grabbed the radio. "Princess Keth Ara, this is Dr. Chen. Before you destroy this ship, there's something you need to know about the super weapon your people are building." "I do not speak to humans," the princess said. "The weapon won't just destroy human colonies," Marcus continued. "It will destroy the peace your mother was trying to create. It will guarantee that this war continues until one of our species is completely extinct. Is that what you want?" Another long silence. Then, "The humans deserve extinction. They are weak and inferior. If we're so weak and inferior, why has this war lasted over a century?" Marcus asked. "Why haven't you been able to defeat us already?" Queen Zarathus smiled at Marcus's question. She took the radio back. "Keth Ara, Dr. Chen makes a good point. If humans are truly inferior, they should have been easy to conquer. Instead, they have fought us to a standstill for generations. Perhaps it is time to consider that we were wrong about them." "You have been poisoned by human propaganda," Princess Keth Ara said. "I will not listen to any more of these lies." Marcus could see weapon ports opening on the Velkari ships. They were preparing to attack. "Wait," he said into the radio. "I'll prove to you that humans and Velkari can work together." Before Queen Zarathus could stop him, Marcus activated the improved biofield dampener and took off his spacesuit helmet. "Dr. Chen, what are you doing?" "Something crazy," Marcus replied. He reached out and took her hand. To anyone watching, it would look like a human and a Velkari were touching each other safely. More than that, they were working together, their movements coordinated like partners who trusted each other completely. Marcus heard gasps coming from the Velkari ships. This was something none of them had ever seen before. "It's impossible," Princess Keth Ara whispered. "No, daughter," Queen Zarathus said gently. "It is the future. Dr. Chen and I have discovered that the bio-incompatibility between our species was artificially created by our ancestors. It can be reversed." "You're lying. I am sending you data from the royal archives. See for yourself." Queen Zarathus transmitted the genetic information that Marcus had helped her discover. For several minutes, there was silence as the princess and her scientists examined the evidence. Finally, Princess Keth Ara spoke again, her voice shaking. "This cannot be true. Our entire culture, everything we believe about ourselves, was built on a lie created to keep us isolated and aggressive. Queen Zarathus finished. But we can choose a different path. We can learn to work with other species instead of trying to dominate them. But the High Council will never accept this. They will say you fabricated the evidence. Marcus stepped forward. Then, we don't convince the High Council. We convince your people directly. How? Let me come with you to the Velkari homeworld, Marcus said. Let your people see a human and their queen working together. Let them see that cooperation makes both our species stronger. Princess Kethara was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was uncertain. The super weapon. If what you say is true about ending the war, what would happen to it? It would be destroyed, Queen Zarathus said firmly. No weapon of mass destruction should exist, whether it targets humans or Velkari. But without the weapon, how will we protect ourselves from human expansion? Marcus smiled. The same way humans will protect ourselves from Velkari expansion, through treaties and cooperation, instead of fear and weapons. Another long silence. Then, Princess Kethara gave an order to her ships. Stand down. Do not fire. Marcus felt his heart start beating again. He had not realized he was holding his breath. Kethara, Queen Zarathus said, will you meet with us? Will you let me show you what peace could look like? Yes, Mother, I will come aboard. An hour later, Princess Kethara stood in the crystal chamber where her mother had nearly died. She was tall and elegant like the queen, but younger and with an edge of barely controlled anger. She watched in amazement as Marcus and Queen Zarathus worked together to demonstrate the genetic reversal process. The biofield dampener made it possible for all three of them to be in the same room safely. This will change everything, the princess said quietly. Yes, Queen Zarathus agreed. But change is not always bad. Sometimes, it is necessary for growth. Princess Kethara looked at Marcus. Human. Dr. Chen, why did you save my mother? Your people and mine have been killing each other for over a century. Marcus thought about how to explain something that still seemed incredible to him. Because she needed help, he said simply. And because I believed that peace was possible if someone was brave enough to try. The princess stared at him for a long moment. Then she did something that surprised everyone, including herself. She reached out and touched Marcus's hand. For the first time in thousands of years, members of 3 generations of the Velkari royal family were able to make physical contact with a member of another species. The war is over, Queen Zarathus said, tears in her blue eyes. 6 months later, Marcus stood on the observation deck of the first joint human Velkari research station. Through the wide windows, he could see ships from both species working together to explore a distant star system. Queen Zarathus joined him at the window. The genetic reversal process had been successful beyond anyone's dreams. Thousands of humans and Velkari had already undergone the treatment that allowed safe physical contact between the species. Do you ever regret it? The Queen asked. Giving up your quiet life as a researcher to become a galactic diplomat? Marcus smiled. Never. Though I do miss the days when my biggest worry was analyzing soil samples. Princess Kethara sends her regards, by the way. The superweapon was successfully dismantled last week. Good. One less thing to worry about. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars. The galaxy seemed bigger and more full of possibilities than it had just a few months ago. Marcus, Queen Zarathus said, there is something I have been meaning to tell you. What's that? When I first whispered that you must not touch me, I was not just protecting you from bioelectric incompatibility. Marcus looked at her with curiosity. I was also protecting myself from hope, she continued. For so long, I believed that peace between our species was impossible. Meeting you changed that. You gave me hope that the future could be different. Marcus took her hand, still amazed that such a simple gesture had once been impossible. Sometimes, he said, hope is the most dangerous thing in the universe. It makes people do crazy things like risk their lives to save their enemies. Queen Zarathus laughed. Then here's to dangerous hope, and to the crazy humans who never know when to give up. In the distance, A new ship appeared, the first vessel designed and built jointly by human and Velkari engineers. It was a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. The galaxy had become a smaller, more connected place. And it all started with one human who refused to let fear stop him from helping someone in need.